it's slow. What do we do next? And not everybody's shop is slow that's on this call, but there are certain things that happen in the marketplace that change and you have to respond to them. But one of the things that happens is competition moves in. So we have a shop there in Crum, Texas, as we're talking about Texas, that there's another shop that moved in 3 years ago. And so Robert was kind enough to refer this client to us, but she didn't know what was going on. And we started looking through her trends when we did the SWOT, and she had a new competitor that moved in 3 years ago, and their numbers were dropping starting 3 years ago. And so we were able to, I know that seems just super simple, but until you asked all the questions, it was just driving her crazy. We don't know why our numbers are dropping, Sam, what's going on? But the competition was really getting fierce. And so once we identified that, you have to play your competition differently than people just leaving your shop. And it so Theodore Uchtdorf, I'm going to go ahead and quote him, but he said that a lot of people, they suffer from center of the universe syndrome. So you're like, why is my shop slow? And it's all about you. Well, the marketplace doesn't see it all about you. Maybe it's not something that you're doing wrong. Maybe it's something your competitor is doing right. Right now, Google ads are very expensive. And one of the reasons being is because when things slow down, people turn to Google ads and they want to turn their ad spend up. That's their first knee-jerk reaction. And sometimes that is the right thing to do. But also when everybody is pumping up their Google ads, then it gets expensive. And so that is just one thing that I wanted to bring up is if you're slowing down and your Google ads are getting more and more expensive, that it might be your competitors that are saying, hey, we're slow too. And so they're competing for the same leads. And so I did want to bring up the competitive landscape. Some of them are just as aggressive as you are, maybe even more aggressive in some cases. But pay attention to your competition. If they're sucking wind, they're not going to do that forever, or else they'll close down. So they're going to want a piece of the pie. And so we do have to pay attention to our competition and what they're doing. And so as I'm going along, if there's anybody that wants to comment on any of this, by the way, I know that I talk fast, but if you have questions about any of these specific topics, because I know we're going to talk about a lot of topics here, but if you have questions or concerns about any of this, please bring it up. And if somebody doesn't agree with something, I'm always open to you disagreeing with me and bringing something better to the table. I'm always excited about that. So it's very difficult to hurt my feelings. So the right answer is whatever is going to bring cars into your bays. And so if you have maybe a different twist on the strategy that we talk about, or if you feel that there's something else we could do to tweak it, we're all open to this. Some of these aren't just Sam's ideas, but they're a cumulative effort from other people in the business. So I know this is a super boring slide, but we were just on fixing somebody's strategy that needed help an hour ago. So we jumped on with them instead of getting this slide done. So I apologize. But you know that we love you that much that I will stop and bend heaven and hell to save your businesses. If someone is struggling, we will stop everything and help them. There's some of you on here that know that. We've done it for you. And so I know this is a very plain slide. The first thing that you do when you get slow is get your crap together, so to speak. And this is a term that we use in our company, and it's not pretty, but hey, we stop and we get things taken care of in our own house. So you go back to business 101 and you organize. Is your shop organized? And so this particular client that we were just on with, we did not fix their marketing today. They have some internal issues that they need to take care of. It will do them zero good to spend more money on marketing with the issues that they're facing right now. So we need to fix things internally before we fix things externally. So I just want to reiterate that they're paying the exact same amount next month as they did this month, and they will make more money because they're getting their stuff together internally. So they have to close more sales. The people that are calling, they have missed phone calls. They have an astronomical number of missed calls. You don't need more leads if you're missing a lot of calls. You need to convert the calls that are coming in. So if you're having too many calls that you can't answer, let's turn your volume down a little bit. And so it'll actually hurt your company if we turn your volume up and have more people calling, because then you're just going to be playing defense. You're going to have people that come in and just get an oil change and leave. So your service advisors think, oh, all these are just bottom feeders that are coming in. No one's converting. Well, part of that's their problem too. So business 101, folks, get your organization together. Make sure that you're making the right estimates. You're looking at anything that's torn, worn, or frayed when they come in. You're presenting to them in a show and sell format, and just fix the things that you know that you need to fix. I know that we can get on a call and we can talk through it. You're going to know the things. You are the best self-coaches that I know, because we'll get on, like, for instance, I see Kim on here and Kim will say, I know that we need to work on this. And Henry will say, I know we need to work on this. And you're absolutely right. And you coach yourselves. It's really awesome. But as we talk through it, we're happy to talk through it with you. But a lot of the things that you need to get fixed in your shop. And those things will turn the tide faster than fixing your marketing. And so just in a lot of cases, convert more to people that are coming in the door, and make sure that less people are going out of the back door. I know that we don't talk about that enough. This particular shop that I talked about, to where they had a competitor move in, it doesn't matter if a competitor moves in if you don't let them take your clients. And I'm just going to let that sink in for just a second. It's okay that that competitor moved in. If you're unstoppable and your clients love you, they don't care that somebody else moved in down the street, because they're happy with you. So my wife, if somebody comes in and takes market share from one of her favorite stores, she doesn't care, because she loves those. As you know, everybody on here knows that my wife loves shoes, and she buys from Irregular Choice and Hot Chocolate. These are a couple of the sources that she has. And if there's a new competitor that comes in the marketplace, she doesn't care. She'll still buy from her same shoe stores that she already buys from. And so you have to have that connection with your client, to where it doesn't matter if somebody else moves in and gives them a lower price, they're yours. And so you have to defend your brand, and you do that through the details. So this is one of the details. This is KJ's Auto. And when people come to their shop and they leave, they have a little goodie bag that they leave on their seat in their car. And it just says, you brightened our day. Thank you for visiting our shop. See you next time. And it has a little QR code for them to scan and leave a review. Yes, it costs them like $2 to fill this bag with candy and to put it on the seat, but it's $2 well spent, and it keeps people coming back. It's just, a happy handshake. Thank you so much for coming in. A thank you goes a long, long ways. And so just paying attention to some of these details. If you don't have one of these for your shop, just hit us up. We'll create it. And you don't have to change it every month. Changing it every season is my recommendation, because you may get sick of seeing it, but your customers aren't coming in more than once a season, so they don't get sick of seeing it. So once a season, if you have 4 a year, in my opinion, that's great. But this is just a great way to say thanks for coming in. And by the way, it does affect how many 5-star reviews you're getting. If you're sitting there holding a bag of candy, is it more difficult to leave a 1-star review if you're looking at this happy sunshine? And even if you had a bad experience, it does stave off more of the 1-star reviews. It really does. Oh, and one thing on the 1-star reviews that I do want to cover. So we will go through and complain about your 1-star reviews to Google. And this is just a trick of the trade that we've learned. Taylor Auto, we learned it on them. But other users, if they go in and look at the 1-star review, if they have a Google account, and they don't even have to be on the account, if they complain about that 1-star review and say it's not relevant. So we had 4 people go on to 1-star review and say it was irrelevant, and Google took it off. This just happened this last week, so I'm just letting you know. For instance, there's a client on here that has a 1-star review. We've had a hard time, and it says I am bought is the name, and Google still hasn't taken it off. If you have other people that have Google accounts and they go to your 1-star review and say that it's not relevant, we've had really good luck this week with getting Google to take those off because multiple accounts are saying that it's not relevant. And so public opinion is starting to rule Google. And I did want to bring that up. That's new technology. We'll probably talk about that more in the future, but I did want to bring that up. Another thing that you can do is trust the process. And Alyssa and I have talked about this before. And I did want to bring this up. Trust the process. A lot of you pay Aaron Stokes and his group for knowledge. And then when I get on here and talk about a cheap oil change, you say it only brings bottom feeders, and you immediately start refuting everything that you just paid Aaron to teach you. And so that is what I call counterproductive. And so this is his mailer from last fall. And you see right here, it says $29.95 for a semi or a blend, and then $39.95 for a full synthetic oil change. And you see it's Amerifix. He has a Eurofix that's more. But we can also add that to the ad and do like $69.95 for a Euro. So this works. And yes, your technicians, excuse me, your counter help will say it only brings in bottom feeders. I can send you this image if you want me to, by the way. But it doesn't just bring in bottom feeders. And I want to bring up a point that is training is a lot of this. And so we need to train our people that this doesn't just bring in bottom feeders, because me as a business owner, I would still respond to this ad and I'm not a bottom feeder. I just want to point that out. If you ask yourself, would I respond to this ad? If the answer is yes, I'm not telling you you're a bottom feeder. I'm just saying you're the difference. You're the gold that we're looking for. So we have to sift through the bottom feeders in order to get to that. And we have to look through things that are torn, worn, or frayed. We have to go through our same processes to where I do hope that some of you use the 1, 2, or 3 to where you say this is a 1. It has to be looked at and dealt with right now. And then the 2 down the road, 3 is even further down the road. And it just talks about the severity and the urgency that you're talking about. We need to train our people to do that. But it builds trust and it builds longevity in a business. If you're wondering why 6 months down the road you're not busy, it's because you're not using the process. But you have to go through your sales process. So all of Aaron's shops are profitable. They all use this same process. They've used it. I know that I've used this process for 20 years. It works in HVAC. You've seen the $39 HVAC tune-up. It works in plumbing. You've seen the $29 drain clog. It works. So trust the process, folks. And if you want different results, you need to do something different. So number 1, clean up your processes. And then number 2, you stick to your same processes. But number 3, you're adding to the processes. So I'm not saying you replace them, but you add to them. If you want to bring new customers in on top of the ones you've already got, then you need to do something different. So that Diapers for Wipers campaign we just talked about, we're doing door hangers for it as well. And so instead of it being all about you, it is all about your nonprofit organization that you're doing a fundraiser for. And it says proceeds go to this particular nonprofit organization. And so that's different. It's different than your standard door hanger that's $49.95 for your oil change. But you're making it all about that nonprofit organization. It worked for the holidays, and it will continue to work for Little League. We're doing it for that same auto shop that people were stealing clients for in Crum, Texas. So it's a fundraiser for their golf team. And so we continue to use that. You just change things up. If you want something different, then you have to do something that's different. And I'm not, once again, I reiterate, I'm not saying stop what you're doing and do something different. I'm saying add to what you're doing. So I'm not saying necessarily add money to it, but we need to change things up. So ad spend, I know it's getting frustrating right now with Google prices going up, and we can continue to work through it. Some of you have been able to actually drop your Google ad spend. There is one client that is not on here that last month we dropped their ad spend by 90% on their Google ads from the time that we picked them up as a client 90 days ago. And so, yes, we can do that, but not in all locations. So we're going to see that. But sometimes you have to spend a little bit more on your ad spend to get more cars in. And so that's just the cold hard truth. Sometimes it really does help to add money to your account, to add money to your Google ad spend. And I'm not saying spend it more on 11. I'm saying spend it more on Google or on your mailers, whatever it may be. Sometimes you have to put more money into your ads. I'm not saying that's always the time. I want to underline that, but sometimes you just need a better strategy and you need to do something different. But we had one client that they got slow, and we just turned up their Google ads just a little bit to where they were outbidding their competitors. And then boom, shakalaka, they were rich the next month. It just was that easy. So sometimes waving the magic wand isn't so magic. It's just you're waving a money wand. Okay, so this picture is worth 1,000 words. Training your staff. The gold is there. I promise you, it's always been there. There are financial indicators in the U.S. economy right now. Kim and I talked about the Canadian economy also, but what we're really seeing is the U.S. dollar is stronger than it's been in a long time under our current leadership. Whether you hate him or love him, he's helping our economy, and the dollar is stronger. The market is stronger. We saw trucking go up in Q4 last year, and it's continuing to go. That's an early indicator that the other things are coming. With tax returns hitting, we are expecting to see more people putting money into their cars, not buying cars, but putting more money into their existing cars. And so we're in that sweet spot right now to where people should be economically having more money that's being freed up to fix their cars. So next year, I think that it is my own opinion. Okay. And then there's an economist that I follow. His name is Harry Dent, and he agrees that next year people will be buying cars, but this year they're fixing cars. And so that's just kind of the sweet spot that we're in our economy right now. But we train our staff how to find that gold. So if people come in for that cheap oil change, don't let them leave just with that cheap oil change. They should at least be armed with their next visit. If you have door hangers that your guys say didn't work, hand the people a door hanger on their way out and say, hey, we'd love for you to come back. And this is for your next appointment. It's a discount oil change, or it's a 25 for 125 kind of a deal, something like that. Give them a reason to come back. If you give them a reason to come back, then you'll find that gold. That's the gold, is when you give them a reason to come back. They don't necessarily have to buy today, but you're still stocking your pipe for the next 6 months. And so train, train, train on bringing people back. That's the magic behind the whole $29 oil change or $49 oil change, is that you continue bringing people back.